Okay, today we have a ZTE Z936L that we're going to replace the screen on. This phone actually had its screen replaced and the touch isn't working, so we are going to go back through it because we noticed there is no video really for this, so we're going to go ahead and do a video to show you how to do this. Some of the tools that we're going to use is an opening tool, a little nylon sponger, an assortment here of different picks, and a Phillips screwdriver, and of course your SIM removal tools. So, alright, this is not really that easy of a repair. One of the first things you need to do is remove this rubber plastic thing across the bottom here. Not very easy. This is going to look very easy compared to what it will be for you, since it's already been removed once by us. And actually it's still not going very easy, so, and that as we work it getting in behind here, there you go. It pops loose, and try to keep on camera here. Get underneath it and just kind of slide your opening tool along it. Where did you go? And there we go. And as you can see, it will just slowly work its way off. And that you might have more luck if you heat this up. We didn't the first time. Again, it was very, very difficult. Underneath here, you are going to see two screws right here. And that I'm pointing at. We're going to go ahead and remove those. And you're going to want to keep track of your screws and where they went. Even though most of these screws look to be the same size, always good practice whenever you work on cell phones to track your screws. And next thing we're going to want to do is start separating the outer frame. Again, this is not very easily done. You're going to try and get your opening tool down in between the glass and the frame. Sometimes a fingernail helps. Just however you can do it to get down in there. And once you get started, you can kind of pry it out a little bit. And once we get it started, now we can start using our plastic picks a little bit in here and pop all these little clips and things loose. And just take your time, work your way around the phone. This is one of the more difficult cases that we've had to take off. And that, like I said, nothing about this phone is very easy, and that we had no video to go by, so that's one of the reasons we decided to go ahead and make a video to try and help other people out. And as we just try to work around and loosen that up, and it's really, you know, it takes a toll on our guitar picks here. Again, like I said, this is not really that easy of a repair. There we go, we got that corner to pop free. After we did that, you can run your thumbnail or a pick or something down the side of it. Kind of helps, and we're going to go ahead and see if we can slowly pop this free. We've got that side free. Oh, one thing we did forget to do, I haven't mentioned we needed it, was to remove the SIM cards and the memory card here. So we're going to go ahead and pop them out and remove them now. So there's that one, and there is this one. And they're not moving real easy because we forgot to move them before we started taking it out and all that. So now that we got those out, this side should start coming apart a little bit easier. We always use a anti-static cloth, and we also have a ESDM band either on our wrists or our ankles, protect the phone from electrical shock. And see if we can get a guitar pick down in there again. And there we go. Slowly working its way down the edge here, and we now have the phone free of its rear case. So we can set that rear case aside, and now we have a bunch of Phillips screws here that we're going to need to remove. If I remember right, there's like 12, I think it is. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, 12 screws we need to remove. And we'll start up here at the top. And we will remove these again. Make sure you place your screws so you know where they came out of. And there we go. Probably should have got our camera up higher. You have 3 screws across the top here. And once you do that, then you can remove this covering here. It's held on by some little clips. You want to be careful not to break it, because it does seem kind of fragile, but and it comes off, just popping free of the clips. And then there's a little rubber gasket right here around your speaker thing that we want to remove. Alright, then down here at the bottom we have another frame that we're going to go ahead and take off. It's covering all of our bottom pieces here. Top one's held in by 3 Phillips screwdrivers. This one's held in by 5. So, just kind of give you a little clue there. That down here in the corner. And one more up here next to the battery. And that will allow us to remove the lower frame that's covering all of, or protecting all of the bottom of the logic board. Alright, so now we have the covering to the battery cable. You want to go ahead and remove that, because anytime you're working on a cell phone, you want to make sure that you disconnect the power so that you don't short anything out. And its little cover came with it. So go ahead and put it over there. And once you've done that, then we can use a little nylon sponger or your fingernail, either one. You want to be careful of any circuitry that you see around there, and just pop that battery cover off. And now we're going to go ahead and remove the battery. Again, we had a lot of difficulty removing it. This one came up pretty easy, and that since we had already removed it once, it won't come up that easy for you. Alright, now we have some screws holding the motherboard down still. I lost my screwdriver and it's right in front of me. So we have a screw along the side here. And another one right down here. These, and we're going to double check that we have all of them out now. And so now we can go ahead and start unfastening some of these other clips, and let's go ahead and use a nylon sponger here so that you can kind of see the little brown flap comes up. And then you can go ahead, and I didn't mention tweezers, but a pair of tweezers works really great when doing this repair. Pull that cable out. This cable is actually going to have to pass down through the motherboard when we remove it. And then we have another cable right here that will go down through the motherboard. Actually, it's a camera, so we'll remove that and set it up there. Our battery cable's there. We have another little cable along here, two along the side here that we're just going to unfasten and move them both at the same time. And that, using our tweezers, just go ahead and pull that cable out and pull this one out. We had a difficult time getting that one in. That's actually the display cable. The bottom large one is the display cable for your display screen. And then down here, and use our fingernail, pop that one up. Little brown tab, and our tweezers. Pull this cable and fold it back a little bit. And the next thing we want to get loose is the vibrator. And that is, it's right over here. And that, go ahead and pop it up. Sometimes you have to use your opening tool to kind of get down in there, because it is attached to the motherboard. So you want to be careful of the little wires. Ooh, came up a little quicker than I wanted him to. Everything looks good. So now we are going to, we got one more camera, and it is right up here that you're going to want to remove. If you pull him up out, and then he is fastened down right there, so you can go ahead and pop it and just fold it back into the battery area. Now your logic board is held on by some small clips there. You can use a nylon sponger to pop it free sometimes, or the opening tool if you're careful. And that, you have another clip on this side over here. And I kind of work at it, pop it free. And then I come down to the bottom and I free it up down there. And once you get it all freed up, I forgot one cable right here. Go ahead and, let's see, this one, is the black tab comes up. We are going to use our, pull it out, and that one appears to go to the SIM card. If I figure out where these cables go, I'll let you know. And then if you just kind of rotate it up, it comes out pretty easy. And there you go. You now have your logic board up out of there. And now we're ready to try and separate the frame from the actual screen. I would use heat. We're not going to, because I know this frame's going to come loose easy enough. You want to be really careful, because up here you have tools, and down here you have a cable that will pass down through this frame. So we'll go ahead and actually get this cable here loose, which we have held down with some adhesive tape, and it will have adhesive tape when you take it loose too. So we will go ahead and take another look here, and here's the display cable I was telling you about. That will go down through the frame too, so we want to be careful of that one. So we are going to start from your right side, trying to remove this screen from its frame. And you're going to want to get your opening tool underneath this just a little ways and slowly work yourself around. Another thing that you could use is the guitar pick. Again, once you get over to the side that has the cable, you want to be really careful. So I'm actually going to avoid that side right now, and we're going to run down the other side. I'm going to show you with a guitar pick here. See how it works with that. And we're trying not to break this screen. And the LCD is all attached here. This is coming apart a whole lot easier than it will for you. And that, again, heat is probably going to be your best friend here. And that, as we run across the bottom of the phone, slowly separating this screen from its frame. And at the bottom, you're going to want to be careful. Those cables, remember I told you they come up through there. And that, so you want to be careful of those and not damage them. That runs your home button and your back button and your task button. And our tape is actually sticking pretty good that we put in there, which is always a good thing. So we are going to remove that tape to help free up the bottom of our screen here. Now that we have the bottom free, and looks like we have most of our screen free. So now we are going to thread this cable carefully down through the frame so that we can remove the frame. Remember I told you up here we have a cable that has to come down through the frame up here at the top too. So it doesn't look like we have it completely removed yet. Oh. Actually, it restuck is one of the reasons it wasn't coming free. And there we go. So we are going to rotate it a little bit and bring that cable down through. And as we look at it, I was actually looking to see if it looked like we had any other problems, but I'm not seeing any other problems that would have come from this here. So alright, once you have done that, now we are actually ready to start putting this phone back together. And that is, I cleaned some of the old adhesive off of the screen. If it's on your screen, you won't have to worry about that, because you should have a new one if you're replacing a broken screen. but you will need to apply some new adhesive to your phone. And actually, as I look at it, you're going to want to remove as much of the old adhesive as you can, and that is what I am trying to do now, is remove the old tape and adhesive that is stuck on there. And see what we can do. Sometimes the opening tool is a good one for that. Go ahead and get that all off there. Still some of the original adhesive, so we're going to try to work at getting it off. Usually the more of this you get off, the better your new screen will fit and stay down. So we are going to see how clean we can get this. They probably should have got this cleaner when they first did this. So there's that one. Now we're going to work on this end, trying to get it cleaned up. And you got to be careful because you still have your ambient light sensor and some things still attached up here, and you don't want to damage them. This being a black screen, you see the white square right there. That is your ambient light filter. And as we work to get this old adhesive off, whoever did this film the first time should have removed more of this. And remember, we still have a camera attached to the bottom, so you want to be careful of that, because as I can see, that lens is kind of coming up close to where I'm at. So your tweezers might be a good thing to use here to get a hold of it and help you pull this up a little bit. I prefer to order this with the frame. I'm not sure why we didn't do that. It saves you a lot of time. So if you order a screen for this, if you order it with the frame, it is going to be much easier. And if for some reason this doesn't work perfectly when we're done, that is what we will do when we order the new one. So and we are going to stick our speaker cover back down in there. Make sure I get it go in the right direction here. And actually, as I did that, I want to put this on the screen. So your screen may come with a speaker cover, it may not. That was one of the things I noticed was missing. So we are going to see what we can do to get it put there, and it doesn't like staying there, so I'm going to try it. one here. I know where it goes by its space there. Alright. So now we're going to go ahead and apply some adhesive tape to our screen to help it stick back down. So we will go ahead, and we're using the 3M double-sided electronic tape. They recommend for cell phone repairs and such. Usually this wider one we use with tablets, but since this has such a wide strip here to attach this screen, we're going to do that. And let's go ahead and peel this tape back here. And now we can stick this one down. Move my speaker cover around a little bit, so go ahead and get him back in place. And we are going to piece in a couple pieces up here at the top. And that to help hold the top of the screen in, which would be very important. Then you're not wanting to cover the holes that your cables need to come back up through, so you're just wanting to get some adhesive here, and this one I may have to trim down. Let me grab some scissors. And we will trim this one a little bit smaller, since it is going into a very small area. Actually get us some square corners to work with too. That's important. So there we have the adhesive tape. It's going to help hold that, and I'm actually going to go to another piece here, and I'm going to split this one down the middle to make it a little thinner. And let's go ahead and peel those off. I'm going to overlap them a little bit. The more of this tape that you can get back where it originally was, the better your screen is going to adhere to this old frame. So here we go, peeling this one off, and make sure our tape sticks down there good. I don't need to peel that back yet, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this little piece right along there, get it down well. And there we go. And keep our little speaker thing in place here. You can see where it belongs. And with the other half of the tape that I split in half, we're going to run along bottom here. And you might even use your tweezers to help you get this tape down in here. And this tape here is actually going to help hold our speaker right where I want it to. So that piece there is going to do double duty as we get it down in there. Again, being careful of your camera and your ambient light sensor and all that you have in there right now still. So peel that off, and now we should be ready to start trying to reassemble our phone here. And that, so we are going to feed the bottom cable down through its hole, kind of rotating it down in there, and work this cable down through its hole. And I have a piece of tape that I forgot to remove its covering on, so I need to go ahead and do that right now here. And there we go. So now that we have that, we are going to go ahead and stick our screen down in place here, hopefully. And get it all stuck down nice and tight. Make sure our speaker covers in right, and our screen is all going down really good. So, and I'm sorry I probably had that up off camera. As I press it down, you're just slowly working the screen all back down into place along all the edges and that. So now that we've done that, we are going to go ahead and stick our battery back in there. The tape's not the stickiest, but probably good enough that it's going to work, making sure that we don't get any cables caught underneath that battery. And it's down in there good. And we are going to seal that cable back down, press this cable back down by actually putting new tape, or if they will stick to the old tape there, that's actually going to help you a lot when you go to put your logic board, motherboard, whatever you want to call it, back in. I'm going to rotate our camera back here, and now we're going to start putting our logic board back in. And that, as you find its little spot it goes in, putting your vibrator down into its spot. Again, I rotate it back in the same way I rotated it out to get all those little clips down in there. And watch your cables, I just had one underneath. A lot of these cables like to get caught underneath